Okay, so Mockingjay review. I've been excited for this movie since like last November when Catching Fire came out, and I was like, okay, keep going. I want more. I really like Hunger Games. Okay, which by the way, forewarning for the people watching this review, I'm fairly kind to Hunger Games, and mostly because I love it so much. So bear with me through the Hunger Games of kind of fandom through this. Um, first thing I want to bring up is I think one of the sadder parts, mostly because it wasn't even supposed to be sad. This doesn't give away plot stuff. When Plutarch Heavensby walks out for the first time, knowing what happened to Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I went with some friends, and I was talking to the guy next to me, and like we both like understood that like you can clearly tell what's happening, or like where this was happening. That with the drug abuse, you can see it in his face. It was sad. I like almost cried just by like a man talking. It was he's a very good actor, and it was touching how like at the end of the movie they did like just like a silent like R.I.P. Philip Seymour Hoffman across the stage. It was nice. It was nice how they did that. I don't know who actually directs this anymore. I know Gary Ross did the first one, but I forgot who picked it up. But kudos to you. I'm happy that you did that. It was nice seeing that you cared. Also nice that you didn't recast him, because I'm pretty sure that they weren't done filming when he passed. So I guess it's kind of for part 2, because I assume that they did it in chronological order, unless they only had specific times they could use each set, which actually is probably true. But how they're gonna, what scenes that he wasn't there for, how it pans out, because I'm pretty sure they weren't done with his filming yet. See that he still had to do some scenes, and then they were like, what do we do? All around, in general, I feel like they did stuck pretty well with the books, and because they're doing it in part 2, they went in very close detail for some things. I pictured the going back to District 8 a lot different. I don't know, just different. I can't really explain. I don't know. And the Finnick and Annie story, I feel like seeing it on camera made it a lot more personal. Seeing just how distraught Finnick is, and then just seeing how happy they are when they're brought together. And spoilers, even if you have seen the movie, you just haven't seen the read or seen the if you see this before the next movie, how sad it is when he, let's be honest, I am looking forward to, again, spoilers, their wedding scene. It was touching. I also liked one of the things in the movie, how they had, President Snow just playing mind games constantly with Katniss and trying to just get inside her head, and he did very well with that, with, the Peeta interviews, and, like, she is, like, almost like a wreck when Peeta actually comes back and realizes that he is trying to absolutely murder her. Damn it, that's the ending. Oh well. You should have seen the movie before watching a review. I'm sorry. Actually, maybe not. Hopefully you've read it anyway. This book's been out for a while. Back to what I was talking about. And the White Roses, because he must have gone to District 12 in this time, which actually would have been fairly risky because they were still panning it out. Or they just sent somebody. They probably just sent somebody. And then with the, just like, a large amount of White Roses when they bombed District 13. So, that being said, I'm coming on like 5 minutes. That being said, I'm going to throw in the spoilers warning right here, even though I feel like I touched it in the beginning. Most of this is going to go into plot points. Just in general, I love the characters. I especially love how well a prohibition, to kind of quote him, Hamish Abernathy, Woody's doing great. And I always love Sam Claflin. He's great. He's rocking Finnick. So with that, I'm rating this movie 9.3. I'm getting very specific points here. I've never done anything that wasn't 0.5 or just 0.0. So, Big Ted. Spoilers warning. So, I think there's a transition. I'm just gonna throw in a transition. Okay, so now into plot details. First thing I want to bring up, now, I didn't want to bring up when they cut it off, because I'm going to save that to the very, very end. I'm going to start with the negatives. When they were filming the promo in I believe it's in District 12, when Candace is singing the Hanging Tree song, and they use it for, like, the promo, which I understand that they would probably use that for the promo, but, that was unless they planned that out, that was a fairly impromptu song. So, I forgot her name, but Caster, she tells the person running the thing, name here, tells Caster to start filming. So then, he probably already missed part of the beginning, and then he's got to get ready to start filming. Although it seems by, the song, unless they already knew the song, I just wonder how they got the beginning of it, because it feels like they wouldn't exactly have a beginning for that, because they wouldn't have that filmed. So, it just does, I don't think it makes sense just that they would have basically the whole song, unless they had her redo it, which then you wouldn't have you wouldn't film it the first time. What I'm trying to say? Okay. Okay, I also want to point out, kind of how they cut it. One of the main things I liked is, how they cut it, because it feels like, after thinking about it, reading Mockingjay, you pretty much just get angry at the end of it. Because, I mean, like, I feel like that's the point where you're just like, no, why? With, like, the absolute ending of the book, Mockingjay, considering that the movie hasn't come out, I'm not going to go into it. Or what happens to Finnick, which angers me, not gonna lie, angers me more. Because to be honest, I kind of cared I was getting to the point where I kind of cared about him more than I cared about Katniss, Peeta, and Gale. I don't know. I feel like he was the only person who actually had moral standards anymore. So now, when they actually cut it, so a lot of people don't like where they cut it with, as soon as Peeta gets back and Peeta just goes for the choke. Then he's like, he's rehabilitating, he's like still screaming and still fighting. I like how they ended it. I feel like it set up, it had a good ending. I did like the ending, although, the main thing I don't like is that, having read the book, I like how they went into, I mentioned earlier how I like how they went into detail, because they did it in 2 parts, but, they can't go into as detail because they didn't get, for having part 1 and part 2, they didn't get halfway through Mockingjay. Because I would have thought the natural break would have been, when she's in, because I'm pretty sure there's, like, a gap in, like, pages, like, but when Candace gets shot in District 2. So, spoilers if you haven't read the book, that happens in the next movie. Probably, unless they completely cut that part out. Please don't cut that entire part out. They kind of need that part. Well, so, in terms of, like, the actual movie ending, I did like the movie ending. Like, how they cut it, story-wise, and, like, the plot, I did like it, but, like, with the book in mind, I didn't. I don't like how they ended it. Because they ended it rather early. So again, this gets into a larger discussion about how you probably enjoy a movie without reading the book. Which is why I think I probably talked about how we saw Hunger Games, then read the series. But I digress, because I kind of want to finish this video, because I have pizza. So, that's my thoughts on Hunger Games Part 3, I guess you would call it. Mockingjay Part 1. Again, 9.3, I'm going to say. Because, again, I do love the series, but I'm not sure if I don't love it quite as much as I do Catching Fire. But I do really like it, because I like how they do Catching Fire. I don't know. I feel like it just, like, progressed well. What happened to this white balance? So, leave a like if you enjoy this review. Post comments what you want me to talk about next. Or, what movie to review. There's still a bunch of movies to see. And if you don't want me to review a movie in the next year, I'm still doing part 2, so. Whatevs. Subscribe to the channel. I post videos here every single Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, even though it seems like I upload them later and later as the day goes by. I'll work on it. It'll probably get corrected over Thanksgiving, Christmas break. So with that being said, if I could whistle and do the salute and do the da, 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 I would, but I can't whistle. So I'm just gonna cut it with this. That looks like a sig hail, but screw it. Bye-bye.